Xiaohua Reba was brutally banned by the entertainment industry for offending the second-generation capital. Just as discussions were raging, major media giants received news and urgently convened a meeting to support Reba. Quickly, revelations within the circle began to spread one after another. Coincidentally, a car accident happened to block her capital, and rumors about her paparazzi evaporated from the human world. Even the top tier in the Shanghai circle and the forces behind it have collapsed together. For a moment, those towering capitalists in the entertainment industry were in danger. Amidst various opinions, someone saw Reba respectfully greeting a young man with Godfather in front of him. Some people also saw that this Godfather was escorted by people with live ammunition while traveling. As soon as the news came out, the whole network was boiling. Chapter 001. Offending Baby, You're Done This Time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the entrance of Blue TV station, Reba shrunk her body and rubbed her arms with her hands to keep warm. The morning temperature in the north is very low. She only wore a thin sports short-sleeved shirt and stood in the cold wind for 3 hours. At this time, her body was already trembling. Isn't that Reba? Why is she standing outside the TV station? I don't know. I remember today we were going to record the second episode of Running Man. Why is she still here? I heard she offended Baby and seems to have been banned by the production team. Why are she still here? Next to me, there was a whispering sound. Reba didn't pay any attention to the sounds around him, only hugged his body tightly and tried to keep himself warm. She glanced at the time and it was already 7:30, but still couldn't see the gathering filming team. Reba finally couldn't help but pick up his phone again and dialed the assistant director. Doo-doo, after a long time, the phone was finally answered at the last moment. Hello. Director, didn't you say to gather at the entrance of the TV station at 4 o'clock in the morning? Why haven't I seen the director team here? Even after waiting for more than 3 hours on a cold night, Reba remained very polite when speaking and could not hear any displeasure. A voice of disdain came from that end. Oh, we have changed the shooting time and location. Reba took a deep breath, appearing unusually calm. After all, this is not the first time she has encountered this situation this month. She has long been accustomed to it. What time did it change? Where is it? I'll go over now. She stood up with numb feet, ready to move around. You don't need to come over. We invited someone else for the rest, so you don't have to participate. Director, you can't do this. I've already filmed half of it. How could this happen suddenly on your end? Reba originally had a good personality and was not prepared to argue anything, but now the director is saying that he will be replaced, but he cannot help but fight for himself. Do you think I want to change? Don't you know why I changed people? Who's not good to offend, but you want to get a baby? Do you know that because of you, all the previously recorded parts need to be re-edited? Alright, stop talking. I advise you to quickly switch careers and not continue to harm others here. I just gave a speech for a small group. Can this be considered as offending her? The little girl accidentally grabbed her clothes, and Baby made her face swollen. She's only in her teens, how could she take action on such a young girl? Reba didn't understand. She thought it over and over, really didn't know where she was wrong. She knows that Baby has a background in the production team and is backed by resources in the Shanghai circle, but even if she has a background, she can't bully people. Little group actors are only in their teens. Who is not raised by her parents. Her beating is completely unreasonable. Although I am not wrong, it is Baby who is wrong. Why do everyone say they are wrong? Let yourself apologize to Baby. Don't you even look at who you are. How dare you stand out? Is Baby something you can blame? Don't you look at her background and identity? You dare to offend her too. I advise you to take advantage of your youth and quickly step out of the entertainment industry. Just rely on your beauty to find someone to marry, and offend them. Don't think about the entertainment industry. What else did Reba want to say, but there was already a busy tone on the phone. She looked at her phone in confusion. Causing harm to others. Offending Miss Baby. She couldn't figure out where she was wrong. At this moment, the phone call from Agent Wang came over, and Reba seemed to see hope. Miss Wang, the directing team. Before she could say a few words, there was a fierce scolding on the phone. What's wrong with you? Tell me, the company finally found a resource for you, but you messed it up when you turned around. Now the running guy doesn't want you anymore. We've been discussing several dramas before and have been notified to terminate our contract. Do you know how much compensation the company will face because of you alone? Now, go find Baby immediately and apologize to her. Whether you kneel down or kowtow, whatever you want. If you can't get her forgiveness, don't come back. Doo-doo, another burst of blind sound. Apologize. Even the company asked her to apologize. At this moment, a black business car slowly stopped in front of Reba. The car door opened, and a young woman wearing sunglasses sat in her seat with a high and contemptuous expression. How about it? It doesn't feel good to offend me, right? The production team doesn't want you anymore, even the agency doesn't want you anymore. Baby slowly took off his sunglasses and arrogantly glanced at Reba, who was shivering and frozen outside the car. Despite enduring the grievances, Reba still stood up straight without any fear. Why did you expel me from the production team? Baby exclaimed, her hands clasped around her chest, looking indifferent. Why? Don't you even look at your own weight and dare to point at me and curse? Don't think that you have a bit of beauty and can easily get into the entertainment industry. I'll tell you, this is the Shanghai Circle. Dealing with people like you is like stepping on an ant to death. Baby has been feeling hot and uncomfortable with her for a long time. Since she came to the show, male guests have been circling around her, and directors have been circling around her. Relying on a bit of beauty, one doesn't take others seriously. Even dare to accuse oneself in front of everyone. She's a grassroots with no background, why is she? Thinking of this, Baby grabbed his sunglasses and held them tightly with his fingers, presenting a more proud posture. I'll tell you, whether you can continue acting, whether you can continue to work in the entertainment industry, that's all I have to say. In this way, don't even say that I bully people and won't give you a chance. So, as long as you publicly kneel down and apologize to me, admit that you are a bitch with thousands of people riding and thousands of people sleeping. I'll just spare you. Baby raised his hand and put on his sunglasses again. His long legs were stacked high together, as if he was showing mercy to a mouse on the ground. Reba's face darkened, and a pair of beautiful eyes flashed with a chill. What does she mean by that? Apologizing for unfounded things is enough. If you say these words, let alone stay in the entertainment industry, you won't want to look up in your life. Reba looked at the person in the car with a pair of eyes, she couldn't figure it out. Why are some people so vicious when they are the same person? How about it? I'm already tolerant enough of you. If someone else were me, I wouldn't even give her this opportunity. Baby patted himself, but it's unclear if it's dust or something. Alright, let me give you some time. You should think about how to apologize to me. Driver, let's go. With a loud bang, the car door closed and we left. Reba stood still, looking at the departing car, feeling a bit dazed. Admit your mistake. That person gave her education from a young age, not one of which was to make her kneel down and apologize to others, let alone let others trample on her dignity. Reba stood up straight, looking away, and suddenly the figure came to mind. 3 years ago, on a rainy night, I resolutely left my godfather's place. She still remembers that before leaving, she confidently told her godfather that she would definitely break through a world and become the woman who could stand side by side with him. In order to achieve this goal, she came to the entertainment industry to work hard, starting from a small role and gradually moving up to her current position. I originally thought that in a while, I would become a top-tier woman like those around my godfather and walk up to him openly. She is clearly about to succeed, but why is this happening at the same time? Located thousands of miles away in a suburban industrial park in northern Myanmar. Chapter 002. Drinking tea is so noisy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dozens of robust men dressed in camouflage uniforms surrounded the park, each holding an AK in their hands and with a solemn expression on their faces. In the yard, more than a dozen dark and thin men knelt on the ground with their heads clasped in their arms, their bodies covered in wounds, blood, and sweat mixed together, tightly sticking their clothes to their bodies. However, they dared not make a sound and only looked not far away with frightened eyes. In that direction, there were constant screams of begging for mercy. I dare not. I really dare not. No, everyone is here now. Ah. Ah. The person who was beaten was Ah Long, the person in charge of their park. At this moment, his whole body was covered in blood, and his skin was not intact at all. He also had various steel needles inserted into his fingers. Every time he let out a mournful cry, the pain in those wounds increased by 1 point. After Li Ting kicked him down, he convulsed all over and let out 2 screams. Li Ting turned around and wiped his shoes on the man before turning around and going out into the yard. In the shadow of the yard, there is a black solid wood chair with a coffee table in front. On the chair, there sat a man in black, with a resolute expression and a confident demeanor. It looks like it's only around 30 years old, but it gives people a feeling of experiencing storms and being extremely majestic. He picked up the teapot and slowly poured water into the tea leaves to clean, with a very gentle and leisurely movement. There was a strong contrast with the surrounding environment, and it was completely impossible to see that blood was flooding around him at the moment. After washing the tea leaves, he made himself a pot of tea and sipped the tea one by one. The place is poor, but tea can still be enjoyed. Bai Chen took 2 sips before speaking lightly. Li Ting walked forward and bowed to report. Boss, I've searched everything but couldn't find the second young master. But they confessed that they had just lost a batch of corpses to feed the wolves in the back mountain a while ago. Bai Chen tightened his grip on the teacup, and a cold color flashed in his eyes. Li Ting quickly lowered his head and dared not continue speaking. Bai Chen put down his teacup and leaned back on the chair, unable to show his emotions, but his face seemed to be covered in a layer of ice, cold and frightening. After a moment, he spoke again. Arrange someone to search the back mountain until they find it. Yes. Li Ting didn't dare to delay for a moment, hurried out, and walked up the mountain with his people. 3 hours later. We have searched for the place where the body was thrown. Only found at the scene. Li Ting wrapped a piece of flesh crumbs in a tissue, which was highly rotten, but the tattoo on the flesh could still be vaguely seen, which was a pattern similar to a gun but also somewhat like a dagger. This pattern is the emblem of their Bai family. Bai Chen glanced in this direction, his eyebrows slightly furrowed, and an indescribable murderous aura flashed in his eyes. Li Ting followed Bai Chen for over a decade, and naturally knew what the boss's expression meant. He glanced at the group of park leaders in the distance and knew what would happen next. Move the people of my Bai family. Coincidentally, their people should be arriving, let's settle the accounts together. Bai Chen lifted his long legs and looked towards the direction outside the gate. In just a moment, there was a sudden roar coming from over there. That's right, the local warlords have arrived. At this moment, the group of people bound up in the park, as if seeing hope, all opened their eyes and looked towards the direction outside the park. With a clang 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 clang, the door was violently opened, and hundreds of skinny men with dark skin and camouflage uniforms rushed in from the outside. Amidst the crowd, a middle-aged man in uniform walked ahead. That's right, the person at the front is the leader of the warlord. And he is also the mastermind behind this park. General. General. Help me, help me. Number 34, these people are acting wildly on your territory. You want to save me? Number 34, several park leaders who were beaten badly before rushed towards the warlords as soon as they saw them. Waiting in front of him, he directly grabbed his clothes and cried, "General! This person is crazy. He released all the piglets you caught, as well as our devices, phones, computers, systems, and disk drives, all of which were smashed by him." The relationship between these electronic fraud parks and local warlords is very delicate, with a supporting relationship. The electronic fraud park is responsible for making money, and most of the money earned must be handed over to warlords. Now, if this person named Bai Chen moves the park, it is equivalent to moving their money bags. Sure enough, after listening to these words, the general's expression immediately became serious. But when he saw the mercenaries holding AKs facing him in the park, he didn't dare to underestimate the young man and looked at him with caution. "Where did you come from? Don't you know this is my territory? If someone moves me, you won't be able to retreat completely." At this moment, Bai Chen still sat calmly on the chair, turning a deaf ear to his words. He picked up his tea cup and blew it, which cooled down a little by 2 minutes before taking a sip. After drinking, I seemed to marvel at the quality of the tea and continued to pour water to brew it. "Are you deaf? Labor management is talking to you." Even though the general was wary of his background, in front of his subordinates, this person did not show any regard for himself, which immediately angered him. The general took out his pistol and pointed it directly in the direction of Bai Chen. And just as he raised his gun and fired, a bullet from a distance came straight through his wrist. But the bullet fired by the general still went straight towards Bai Chen. Li Tang and others all nervously looked towards Bai Chen. However, just as the bullet was 1 meter away from Bai Chen, another bullet suddenly appeared in the dark and missed its original position. Bang! With a sound, a bullet hole was shot on the left wall. Bai Chen sat motionless on the chair, continuing to drink tea. Chapter 003, Let's go back and see what those people can do. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing this scene, everyone present was somewhat surprised. Who exactly is this man? The bullets were all shot in front of me. If it were an ordinary person, I would have been scared to pee long ago. He remained unmoved from beginning to end, not even looking in the direction of the bullet. But what is most impressive is the strength of the shooters behind them. Being able to shoot the general's wrist with one shot and accurately shoot bullets is no longer powerful, but terrifying. This kind of person with terrible marksmanship doesn't know how many are hidden in the dark. The general was hit in the wrist, and his veins were swollen with pain, causing blood to flow all over the ground. The scene was extremely bloody. He suppressed his pain, his anger burning to the extreme at this moment. Even though he knew that the arrival was not easy, he completely ignored it. The only thing he wanted to do was to quickly take off his head. He glared at Bai Chen with anger, gestured, and all the soldiers behind him raised their guns and loaded their rifles in the direction of Bai Chen. As we watched, a great war was on the verge of breaking out. But it seemed different from what they had expected. At the moment they held the gun, bullets fell from all directions with a bang, and the group of people standing at the front were all shot and fell to the ground. Everyone looked around in fear, only to find snipers lurking in every corner, at least 50 or 60 people. Not only that, the position behind them is also surrounded by a group of strong mercenaries at this moment, and each of them has the latest AK-47 in their hands. For a moment, the crowd was panicked, and the warlord who had previously been imposing softened in a moment. Who the hell are you? Seeing this, the warlord covered the bloody wound and looked at Bai Chen with caution. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly saw a gun-shaped logo on Bai Chen's sleeve. At this moment, my scalp tingled, my legs were sore and limp, and I sat down directly on the ground with a thud. His eyes were filled with fear as he pointed at Bai Chen. You are the Bai family. As soon as they heard the words, Bai family, all the people behind them showed a look of fear. Bai family. That white family that dominates the Middle East, wandering between the official and underworld. It is said that at least 90% of the arms and weapons in the entire Middle East were purchased from the Bai family. Not only that, in addition to military personnel, their mercenaries are also scattered throughout war-torn countries. It is said that the Bai family is a person who even dares not provoke those terrorists. But isn't the Bai family in the Middle East? Why did you suddenly come to northern Myanmar? Bai Chen stood up, patted the dust off his body, and slowly walked over to him, his voice low. Number 34, your interest in drinking tea has been disturbed by you. Number 34, the general looked at Bai Chen in terror, trembling and kneeling on the ground. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was from the Bai family who came. Whatever you want to do on your end, it's just an industrial park. If you like it, you can take it with you. I still have a few parks in my hands. If you need them, I will treat them as compensation for you. He looked up at Bai Chen with a pleading expression, hoping that he would forgive him. But Bai Chen didn't pay any attention to him anymore. He turned around and raised his hand slightly. Compensation, right. Then use your life to compensate. The words fell. Gunshots echoed one after another in the park. 1 hour later. Bai Chen sat in the car. Boss, according to our investigation, the last time second young master appeared in China before his death was at a brokerage firm. This is the information of second young master. Li Ting handed over a stack of documents. Bai Chen lowered his head and glanced. The last words spoken by my father before his death suddenly flashed in my mind. Anyway, I have to find your younger brother. Although he is my illegitimate child, he is still connected to your bloodline. Father, I have never asked you anything in my life. I just hope you can help me find him and make him recognize his ancestors and return to his family. Bai Chen glanced at the photo on the profile and saw that he was a handsome boy with some resemblance to himself in his beauty. However, compared to himself, he is a bit less aggressive, so it seems that he should be a sunny and cheerful boy. According to the information, he grew up in an orphanage and worked hard in society after graduating from high school, dreaming of becoming an actor. Therefore, he started playing tricks in the production team when he was in his teens. Last year, I successfully signed a contract with a brokerage company, and then played some small roles. By last year, I had completely disappeared in China. Is it the entertainment industry again? Bai Chen frowned and said lightly. Li Ting quickly added a sentence. Yes, I checked and found out that second young master and Miss Reba are not in the same agency. As soon as Li Tingang finished speaking, Bai Chen stopped talking and didn't know what he was thinking. But after following him for many years, Li Ting could tell at a glance that the boss was concerned about his goddaughter, Reba. A few years ago, for some reason, Miss Reba had an argument with her boss and left in frustration, insisting on making a name for herself before she was willing to come back. Although the boss didn't say anything, he sent someone to secretly protect Miss Reba. Whenever she encountered something, he would step in to help her. Bai Chen asked lightly. Well, how have you been lately on the Reba side? Li Ting remembered the latest intelligence he had collected about Reba, so he quickly said. Miss Reba recently participated in the recording of a reality show, but seems to have some problems. She was targeted by the entertainment industry and seems to be preparing to block Mississippi. Bai Chen's face remained unchanged, with a glint in his eyes. Is it the entertainment industry again? It seems that this place is really not clean. My family has not been in China for a long time, and I can't believe that the domestic circle has become so dirty. My half-brother was sent to northern Myanmar, fearing that he might have a connection with the so-called brokerage company. Now this puddle of muddy water is stirring up my daughter again. It's a bit interesting. Li Ting, we haven't returned to China for a while, have we? Let's go back and see what those people in China can do. Chapter 004. Is it really too big for me in such a big entertainment industry? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Reba returned to the dormitory, she silently sat on the bed, looking at the information on her phone. Sister Wang, it's really not my fault about the program team. Do we have any other work plans behind us? Sister Wang, otherwise my salary would be lower, or a small supporting role would be okay for commercial performance. She sent over a dozen messages to her agent in a row. A day passed, and Wang finally replied to her message. Arrangement. Are you joking? You offended baby and still want to arrange. Do you know how much we need to compensate for your situation on the runner's end? If you don't apologize to baby, you won't think about any arrangements afterwards. Looking at this news, Reba suddenly felt a sense of powerlessness. It's like all these years of hard work have been in vain. At this moment, a news prompt suddenly popped up on her phone. Hashtag second line Xiaohua insulted baby at the recording site and was expelled from the male running crew. Hashtag this is a WeChat conversation disclosure, where the whistleblower claimed to be a staff member of a running man and also posted photos of the work on site. Afterwards, he wrote a lengthy essay accusing Reba of using big names to insult baby on the spot, and secretly seducing the director of the production team, resulting in a corrupt moral style and making the production team a mess. The production team had no choice but to expel her, causing the staff to delete and modify the previously recorded program overnight. Below the disclosure, several photos of the staff working overtime to edit videos were also displayed. Although Reba is not yet at the top of the line, it has gained some popularity due to its participation in Running for Men, and baby itself has a high level of popularity. So this post was directly trending. Under the relevant Weibo, it can be said that there was a lot of cursing, and all of Reba's private messages were cursing her. Do you want to be shameless? Don't even look at who the other person is. Baby, you dare to insult them. You start playing big cards before you become popular. It's really disgusting. Can you even participate in the running boy competition with your body? It turns out you've always relied on your body to get up. It's so disgusting, it's embarrassing for us girls. How lacking a man are you when you portray yourself as a pure goddess in front of the TV and secretly flirt with other directors? Both comments and private messages are unsightly. Reba never thought that the biggest hot search since her debut would be like this. This baseless and even without evidence is something that many people believe. Even a few actors from the same industry actually shared it. My own brokerage company didn't even respond. It's not easy to see a good sister's Yang supporting her micro-blog. Reba I worked with, I know what kind of person she is. Some people will ruin others' acting career by virtue of something without evidence. Is there any way to save such a Shanghai circle? Even though Yang Mi has gained popularity, the situation under her Weibo account is not optimistic. She is either criticizing Yang Mi for being indecent or calling her blind, or simply joining Yang Mi in the criticism. Even Yang Mi had this fate, and the situation was even worse when her roommate Zhao Xiaoying spoke up for her on Weibo. The newcomer she just entered the industry posted on Weibo, and there were even more curses underground. Just then, the sound of the door opening rang out. My roommate Zhao Xiaoying came back from outside. She lowered her head, her eyes turning red, and it was obvious that she had just cried. Aren't you having an audition this afternoon? Why did you come back so early? Reba remembers Zhao Xiaoying enthusiastically telling herself yesterday that she received an audition for a female lead 3 and practiced her lines all night for this audition. But it's only 3 o'clock, hasn't the audition started yet? Zhao Xiaoying sat on the side with her head drooping. At noon, Sister Wang informed me that the company has arranged for other artists to audition. Saying that I am not suitable for the acting industry, let me quickly find another way out. As he spoke, his voice began to sob and tears couldn't stop falling. Reba knows that Zhao Xiaoying must have been removed from her resources because of that Weibo post and her support for her own affairs. So, in the end, it's still because I offended the Miss Shanghai circle. Xiaoying, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I didn't know it would affect you. If the company has any issues, just come to me. Why don't they let you act? I'll go find them to argue. With these words, Reba will get up to fight for sisters. But it was pulled back by Zhao Xiaoying. No need, really no need. It's not your fault for this. I think I might not be suitable for this industry either. You see, the two of us have been working hard and still haven't been able to make it out yet. Look at those who came in at the same time, everyone else has already become the #1 female character, and we are still fighting for the role of a third and fourth female character. Even in the crew, anyone in the company can bully us, and even the hard work of acting has almost all been taken away by the company. Are we really not suitable for this? Zhao Xiaoying had red eyes and a pair of big eyes, looking at Reba with grievances. Reba lowered her head and lightly bit her lips. How could she not know about these? Why did those people during the same period become the female lead? It wasn't until the company asked him to accompany drinks at night and deal with those so-called big bosses that the big director managed to win over. But she can't do this, and she doesn't want to do it either. She doesn't believe it. Can't she really survive in the circle without accompanying the drinks? She has been working so hard these years, but she never expected to. Chapter 005. That person should be coming soon. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jiaxing office building, inside Yang Mi's office. Mr. Yang, it's difficult for you to protect yourself here. Do you still have the heart to care for others? With this time and energy, it's better to consider whether your office can still be guaranteed or not. You only have 12% of the shares in your hands. I suggest you don't be too arrogant, and leaving is the right way. Zheng Jia, the largest shareholder of Jiaxing and former agent of Yang Mi, is now standing proudly at Yang Mi's desk. Yang Mi sat on the office chair without looking up. Mr. Zheng, if you're okay, please go out for a moment. I have something else to deal with. Zheng Jia glanced at it and sneered. You're free, and I don't know how long you can be tough. Do you think holding that little share will make it impossible for others to take advantage of you? Let's walk and see. After speaking, Zheng Jia walked away from the office in high heels, twisting and twisting. Yang Mi closed the door and then leaned back on the seat, her face heavy. Jiaxing was the one who built the world on his own. After all these years of hard work, he couldn't even hold on to this 12% stake in the end. Unfortunately, Reba's situation also happened at this time. I had no say in Jiaxing and couldn't help her, however, with such a big uproar in Reba, that you should also know, right? He should be about to take action too. On the other side, the Magic City Peace Hotel. As a landmark of the Magic City, the Peace Hotel was actually booked today. In addition to all the staff in the hotel, there are also more than 10 black suit bodyguards in the lobby. The bodyguards stood side by side, waiting for the arrival of the guests. Even the hotel manager, dressed in a suit, is now standing guard outside the gate. Passers-by stopped and watched curiously. I heard that the Peace Hotel has been booked, but who exactly has such strength? Even the hotel manager waited outside the door to welcome them. Before long, more than a dozen black cars slowly parked outside the hotel, with an extended Hummer at the front. The manager bent forward and opened the car door. A young man in a black shirt got off the car, followed by several equally burly bodyguards. The man lowered his head and looked ahead, with an indescribable aura of majesty. With his appearance, it gave people a strong sense of oppression, which was an indescribable and terrifying aura that even a glance at him could feel. After getting on the elevator, Bai Chen's voice rang out. How has the matter been handled? Li Ting quickly bent forward and answered. It's already being arranged and can be resolved within today. Bai Chen took off his gloves, nodded lightly, and walked into the room. With the appearance of Bai Chen, the whole demon suddenly became lively. In the evening, bite dance at the headquarters. Company President Li Dongyang urgently convened a plenary meeting. All department heads of the company were gathered in the conference room, and even those on business trips were required to participate in online meetings. In the conference room, Wang Ming, the head of the entertainment section, looked at the people around him, full of doubts. What's going on? I was just discussing an annual contract for a celebrity studio, a 50 million yuan collaboration project. Why was I suddenly called to a meeting? My colleague shook his head. How do I know? You didn't see that not only we TikTok, but also the head of the headlines came, which shows that this is a big deal. ByteDance is mainly under the two platforms of TikTok and Tiao, but the situations on both sides are generally governed by the chambers. Except for the year-end summary meeting, they may meet each other. On weekdays, they are all busy, even not working together. Today at the meeting, everyone was called in, no wonder they were surprised. Amidst everyone's discussion, the door to the conference room opened and President Li Dongyang hurriedly walked in. Everyone was originally planning to greet him, but Li Dongyang waved his hand to signal everyone to be quiet before quickly speaking up. Now, let me inform you of an important matter. You should immediately go and notify everyone below. All negative news about Reba on the platform will be deleted. Remember, delete all negative comments, whether they are posted by bloggers or some negative comments, as long as they appear on our platform, they will be deleted and processed. Li Dongyang looked serious and said a few words to everyone as soon as he came up. Everyone present was stunned and looked at each other. What situation is it? Reba. A little celebrity. Some leaders of other sectors have not even heard of the name Reba, their eyes wide open and filled with question marks. Li Dongyang looked serious and looked at everyone. Alright, what are you all staring at? Didn't I understand what I said? Reba. It's now 4 p.m., and I'll give you half an hour to clean up any negative news about celebrity Reba. If anyone hasn't done it, you can just bring your resignation report to Chairman Zhao. Upon hearing these words, everyone stood up one after another, not daring to delay for a moment. The emergency meeting of all the responsible persons turned out to be just for a female celebrity. And, according to what the president just said, this matter is still an order from the chairman's side. What kind of person is this Reba? Surprisingly, let the chairman step down to help him. Their hearts are filled with doubts, but at this moment, they don't have time to think much and can only take action as soon as possible to protect their positions. Chapter 006. Why has the public opinion changed completely? You are listening at novelfull.audio. In addition to ByteDance, the same story is playing on other media platforms at the moment. Weibo headquarters, Douyu headquarters, Zhihu, Xiaohongshu, Douban, and so on, all media platforms received news at once. They don't know exactly what happened, but the only thing they can be certain of is that there is a clear requirement from above, ordering them to clean up all negative news related to Reba. For a moment, all the media staff were busy. In an office building, several white-collar workers gathered together, discussing gossip with each other. Hey, have you seen that? Today's hot news is about Reba offending Baby and seducing a male director, which was exposed by the staff of the production team. Isn't it? Is it so explosive? Baby, I remember my family was very wealthy, and I dare to provoke such a person. It's really fake. Of course it's true, and the staff said that even Reba has been expelled from the production team. I'll find it for you, you can see from the original text. As she spoke, the female white-collar worker took out her phone and prepared to flip through the news she had seen for her colleagues. Opening Weibo hot search, I didn't see a topic related to Reba, even the hot search with explosive words disappeared inexplicably. Strange, it was just there. I even collected it back then. She opened her favorites and inexplicably deleted the previous Weibo post. She was a bit skeptical and continued to open the search bar, typing in the keywords, Reba running man. However, she only found some Weibo posts from Reba before and some fan comments on her personal photos. She didn't find any information about Running Men. Afterwards, she tried searching for keywords such as offending baby again, and the results were still the same, nothing. And not only on Weibo, but also on other major news platforms, all negative news about Reba has been erased, and even some negative comments have been cleaned up. Seeing this scene, several people were also very surprised in their hearts. Surfing for so many years, it's really the first time I've encountered such a thing. In just half an hour, I can't see a single piece of related news. If it were just those big stars on the front line, let's forget about it. Are you still a little actor now? This wave of operations is indeed quite its puzzling. Program team. Baby finished filming today's content and returned to the nanny's car to rest. She looked in the mirror, tidied up her makeup, and casually asked, "How's the arrangement going?" The agent smiled and handed over a bottle of water, returning. "All the arrangements have been made, and all the negative comments from Reba have been posted. They were already on the trending list half an hour ago." Baby took the water glass and took a gentle sip. It's not that she's looking for Reba, it's just that woman is really annoying. Relying on her beauty, she flirted with other directors on the set, making it annoying to watch. Baby suddenly remembered something and casually asked, "By the way, I've checked her background." "Well, don't worry about that. I've checked it before. She appeared in the lower level group, not to mention some wealthy family, a wild girl without even parents." Upon hearing the agent's words, Baby nodded with peace of mind. She has been in the entertainment industry for over a decade, and she still understands the basic survival rules. She won't easily offend those with backgrounds, and there's no need to set up some powerful enemies for herself. If she kicks an iron plate, she will feel uncomfortable. But those lower levels who have no fighting ability are different. Why do they ride on their own heads? Especially this Reba, without a father, mother, or background, how can it attract others' attention? Dare to compete with oneself for beauty. Why don't you teach her a lesson? These people are not rebellious anymore. Baby's long legs curled up, dealing with a disliked person, which would be in a good mood. Well, then let her take a look at our methods in the Shanghai Circle, and I can be considered as giving her a free lesson. Take a look at how hot searches are now, and also take a look at how netizens are commenting. Well, actually there's no need to look at it. You don't know how bad netizens are cursing her now. The agent smiled and opened his phone, ready to hand over the hot search to Baby. As soon as the result was opened, the page displayed, "The content has been deleted." She opened several more contents one after another, and the situation remained the same, surprisingly all of them were deleted. "What's wrong?" Baby frowned and asked. The agent looked at the phone and couldn't believe it. Surprisingly, all the hot searches and comments on Reba have disappeared, and all the messages on major platforms have been cleared. Baby brought his phone and surprisingly tried it on several other platforms, but as the agent said, it was all gone. Can you say that the Reba agency helped find public relations? The agent shook his head. Number 34, I don't think so. Their small company didn't dare to offend us. An hour ago, they even called me and promised that they wouldn't interfere with anything about Reba, so the company treated it as if there was no such artist. Number 34, they've all said that. How could they even give it back to Reba PR, and they're a small company, where can they have this PR strength? Baby flipped through a few more pages, her heart full of doubts. Shouldn't someone be helping her? Is it that Yang Mi? At present, Yang Mi is the only one standing up to speak for Reba, is it her? Yang Mi doesn't have that ability, right? Recently, I heard that Jiaxing had taken action against her, and her shares couldn't be saved. Do you still have this ability to help others? You're right, maybe it's not Yang Mi. Wait a moment, I'll ask the person in charge of the entertainment section on Magic City Weibo. Speaking, the agent took out his phone and called the other party directly. On Baby's side, the annual cooperation with Weibo is close to billions, and this volume has long been the core customer of Weibo. He was also entrusted with the task of arranging the hot search for Reba He. The hot search has now been deleted, so naturally we need to ask him clearly. The phone rang for a while, and the other end hung up directly. Did someone take action behind this in Chapter 007? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The agent didn't believe in evil and called again. This time, the phone rang for a long time and was finally connected. Mr. Wang, what do you mean? Didn't we spend money to arrange the hot search? Why did you remove all of it for me? On the other end of the phone, after a long time, the voice of a middle-aged man came through. Number 34, Zhao Jie, don't force me anymore. This kind of unfounded black hot search will only ruin someone else's entertainment career if you arrange it out. Number 34, that Reba ultimately came from group performances. If you continue to search for such an unfounded hot topic, the future of young people will be ruined. If a familiar person hears his words, they can feel that when he speaks, the broken sentences are very different from usual. But at this moment, the agent had no time to think much, with only a few inexplicable words in his mind. What the hell? You've collected all the money, and now you're back playing the role of a great saint. Mr. Wang, you're not right about what you said. You took my money and didn't do anything. You said such things. Besides, I'll ask you, have you taken over our orders in recent years? Are there still few hot searches that target other people? When I was criticizing Deng Ziki in Maoyingyi before, I didn't see you say anything. Why are you suddenly holding on to injustice with a third-tier celebrity? It's funny, you. The agent was also so angry that he just spoke a lot. So I don't think what you said is right. I won't take your heartless orders again in the future. After speaking, with a loud bang, the phone hung up. The agent and baby were bewildered, or was it the first time they had encountered this kind of situation where money doesn't make a profit and they turned around to blame themselves? It's funny, right? He was able to get to this position not because of the resources we provided him in the Shanghai circle. Otherwise, there would be more sales on the Weibo platform. How could he have achieved the first place in performance and climbed to his current position? Are you so bold now? What kind of people are these? Baby has a dark face and extremely negative emotions. On the other end of the phone, Mr. Wang hung up and looked in front of him with a fearful expression. I have followed your instructions. Can you please not send those photos and information out? If my wife finds out, I will definitely leave the house clean. At this moment, there was a man in a suit sitting in front of him, who was Bai Chen's assistant Li Teng. Li Teng lifted his long legs and leaned against the sofa. On the coffee table in front of him, there were some photos and several financial records. In the photo, there is an intimate group photo of Wang and a woman. And the financial information is some proof that he and the woman jointly transferred their property. Mr. Wang is currently in a divorce lawsuit with his wife, and both sides have reached a boiling point. If the other party has evidence of their own infidelity and financial transfer at this time, the transferred money will not only be recovered, but they will also end up in a clean house. He thought that what he did was already very secretive, and even the private lawyer arranged by his wife investigated for a year without finding evidence. How did this person discover these things? And not only photos, but also detailed information on asset transfer. Looking at the man in front of him, Mr. Wang broke out in a cold sweat on his forehead. Li Teng raised his eyebrows. It's easy not to send it out. What should I do later? You don't need me to teach you. Running mail recording live. The director, assistant director, and several on-site executive directors gathered together after finishing the morning shooting. The deputy director is a middle-aged man with a slight fat figure. He can't help but complain when sitting in a chair. That Reba is quite bold, even baby dares to offend him, and he deserves to be kicked out by the program team. Others nodded when they heard this. Isn't that right? She's just a girl with no background. Although Baby lost some resources after leaving Xiaoming, the skinny camel is bigger than the horse, and she's still backed by the Shanghai Circle. Such a person dares to offend, probably can only withdraw from the circle. Isn't that right? Although these people in the Shanghai Circle don't have the immense power of the Beijing Circle, they are wealthy. Moreover, these people are notorious for being xenophobic. Do you remember their previous sins? If they were sent to the bureau, they would never have had the chance to film in their lifetime. Hey, it's still us who have worked hard. The things we filmed before are useless, and we need to re-record them in the later stages. Can you tell me, this is just a mouse droppings that ruined a pot of soup? During the discussion, the executive director took out his phone and prepared to check on the previous news. However, when I opened this hot search, I didn't see the hot search of Reba, but what caught my eye was a topic of hashtag top tier buying hot search in the Shanghai Circle, maliciously attacking fellow artists hashtag. Is this top tier in the Shanghai Circle? Shouldn't you say Baby? He clicked on the hot search and the first thing he saw was a long Weibo account claiming to be the head of the entertainment section in the Shanghai area of Weibo. The article states that she has been collaborating with a top performer in the Shanghai Circle, who has purchased a large amount of hot search resources here to smear her peers, and Reba is also one of her masterpieces. For a long time, this incident has been tormenting him deeply, so he decided to disclose what he had done and apologize to all the victims. At the same time, a telephone recording is also attached, which can be considered a real blow. In the article, although it is not mentioned which top performer in the Shanghai stock market is, it is not difficult to guess who the person mentioned is by combining recent events and rumors. Sure enough, as soon as this news came out, it immediately caught the attention of the entire network. I'm going. Isn't that right? Big Baby has been buying hot black searches and even standing up to blacklist his peers. Is this person's character so bad? Is he just bullying people like he has a background? I wiped it, so she made all those black materials before. Is her mind so deep? Are you joking? How could Baby possibly engage in black hot searches? Is it necessary for her? They are all top-notch and do these things. How could that be possible? Yeah, it's impossible for us babies to do such a thing. This is such a long Weibo post. Don't think that just writing a long article is amazing. Who believes in these little essays these days? It's definitely a black hole envious of us babies. This topic has just been released, so netizens have all kinds of comments. However, because Baby has a relatively large audience and fan base, a large number of comments still stand on Baby's side and do not believe in any leaked information. Seeing this, the executive director's expression is complex. Although it has just been exposed, it has now reached the top 30 of Weibo's hot searches, and it is estimated that the popularity will rise for a while. Is this targeted by peers in Chapter 008? You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few others also leaned over and glanced at the hot search above. Is it difficult for someone to start targeting Baby? I don't know, but maybe someone in the circle has taken action and wants to use Reba's situation to deal with Baby. The chief director nodded. Perhaps it's her previous rival, thinking of falling into the trap and throwing stones. But let's not see who it is. Baby's background is too deep, don't think such a statement can shake. A few people chatted casually, but they didn't take this matter to heart. After all, the entertainment industry is like this, deceiving and competing for resources with each other, and incidents of falling into trouble are often seen. But who can win? This overall situation still relies on background. If your background is not strong enough and your resources are not deep enough, even if you ask someone to come forward and clarify for you, it will be of no use at all. But this time, it is clear that the development of the situation is not quite what several directors thought. The discussion on related topics has skyrocketed. Moreover, those netizens who had previously questioned the identity of the whistleblower were quickly slapped in the face. A notice regarding the dismissal of Wang XX, the head of the entertainment sector in Shanghai, has emerged on the official Weibo account. This to some extent directly confirms the identity of this whistleblower from an official perspective. Since the identity is genuine, the credibility of the leaked content and the phone recording can be directly inflated. Especially when it was mentioned in the recording that the previous incident involving Deng Ziki and Mao Xiaoying had directly excited the parties involved. Deng Ziki reposted Weibo. Along the way, I just wanted to sing well. I never thought that I had inadvertently offended anyone. If you want to blackmail me, can you tell me why? I reserve the right to hold myself accountable. Mao shouldn't repost Weibo. I knew the circle was dirty, but I always felt lucky to stand in front of everyone and be loved by so many fans. Thank you for your trust in me. I hope relevant personnel will receive the punishment they deserve soon. After the two shared it, fans and some onlookers also pointed their fingers at Baby. On the nanny's car. Baby looked at the news on her phone, with a pretty face that looked uncertain. Do you really think that this will affect me? Humph, I have some strength. Can you think of using the situation with Reba to take action against me? Number 34, who do you think it could be? Number 34, Baby put down her phone and rubbed her temples. The agent looked at her and sneered. I saw the Weibo post that Deng Ziki and Mao Shi posted, shouldn't it be one of them? However, Mao shouldn't have come from the bottom class and has no resources to speak of. It's highly likely that he's not him, and he doesn't have this ability either. It's probably just Deng Ziki. Baby helped her forehead and was about to withdraw her phone when she saw a hot search like #Baby, you owe them an apology hashtag. And surprisingly, this hot search has already topped Weibo. Moreover, several official platforms have even published reports on the incident. Oriental Morning Post. The entertainment industry has never been the territory of someone or a certain party. Guangming Weekly. When did public opinion become a tool for some people's self-interest? Urban Express. Fairness needs to be maintained, justice needs to be defended, and the public needs a clean, transparent, and just information environment. In addition to these official comments and reports, some self-media accounts and marketing accounts have also forwarded them, bringing the center of the event to themselves. The entire wind direction is already very clear, it's coming towards her. And the baby and the agent, who were previously confident, now have extremely complex expressions on their faces. To be honest, they used to think it was just throwing stones at their families, but now it seems that having the ability to mobilize large-scale media to guide public opinion is not easy. But who exactly is it? Is it difficult to see myself leaving my ex-husband Xiaoming and thinking that I can handle anything without relying on him? No, it's impossible. The entire entertainment industry knows that after leaving Xiaoming, they are now people in the Shanghai circle, and behind them stand the big shots in the Shanghai circle. They have no reason to take the risk of offending the Shanghai circle to target themselves, right? Moreover, the people she bullied before were also some who had no background or strength, and they didn't have the ability to do these things. Is it difficult for those few people to find any support? Running to find oneself to settle accounts after autumn. Thinking of this, Baby's face turned cold. Go. No matter who I am, don't try to shake my position in the entertainment industry. Go and arrange for me about that matter with Reba. What else is there, Deng Ziki? Mao shouldn't be a few people, and their black materials should also be released to me. This time, arrange for the Navy to be arranged for me, as well as General Zhao's side. You can borrow resources from him. It's just this kind of person, I don't believe it anymore. Can you really argue with me to the end? Previously, I wasn't prepared to get things done, but now it seems that those individuals are toasting, not eating, and being punished. In that case, we can't blame her anymore. Inside the company dormitory. Reba brought hot water and brewed 2 buckets of instant noodles, handing Zhao Xiaoying a bucket. Zhao Xiaoying took it over, but she didn't eat either, just hanging her head. What should we do? If we can't get the show again, will the company kick us out? Reba bit her lip. It's okay, let's just rent a new house after we leave. Anyway, since neither of us can survive, we can't go to Jiangnan or Kyoto. There's always a chance. Encouraged, Zhao Xiaoying nodded fiercely. At this time, their mobile phones rang, which was a TikTok news push. Reba took a bite of the noodles and casually opened the news. The person in charge of Weibo's Shanghai district publicly admits to being instructed by female celebrities to release smeared messages by Reba and others. Seeing his own name, Reba was so excited that he couldn't even bother eating instant noodles, so he opened his phone to check the news. Until he finished reading the content inside, Reba still had an unreal feeling. Why did someone suddenly stand up to help him speak? And there are also many comments that support oneself. Chapter 009. This batch of fish needs to be replaced. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao Xiaoying also leaned over and exclaimed in excitement when she saw the news above. Is it really fake? So are we going to be lucky? I'll tell you where those smear rumors came from. It's indeed her, baby. Why is that woman so bad? We just want to film well, why spread rumors about us? Does it mean that the truth will be revealed now? Does it mean that we will have filming in the future? Zhao Xiaoying opened a pair of round big eyes, full of vitality. But Reba didn't seem so excited, and his expression was still a bit worried. I don't know. But don't you think these news came too suddenly? Is it really someone helping us? Firstly, it is definitely not the company, because after the incident occurred, the company had clearly told her to solve it on her own, and even now, there is no defense or rights protection message posted under the company's official account. Even my official certified account is in the hands of the company, so much so that I cannot send any personal explanations. As the words fell, Zhao Xiaoying gradually calmed down and pondered over the issue just now with Reba. After a long time, she weakly asked. Can it be baby's opposite family? After all, she has offended quite a few people in the circle over the years. And no matter who it is, it's always a good thing for us. Maybe the company will contact us soon to arrange a new play for us. At this point, Zhao Xiaoying's eyes lit up. The next moment, Reba's phone suddenly rang, and the caller ID displayed as Agent Wang Jie. Look. I'll just say it. Pick up, pick up. Zhao Xiaoying urged excitedly. Reba also saw hope at this moment, picked up his phone and turned on hands-free. Reba, how have you and Zhao Xiaoying been lately? Miss Wang's tone is clearly much gentler than when she called last time. Zhao Xiaoying quickly winked at Reba. We're all doing well and waiting for opportunities in the company at any time, said Reba. That's good. Last time on the phone, it was Wang's bad attitude, but as you know, she was all for you. The artists in her hands have made a name for themselves, and being able to shoot good scripts and become popular is more important than anything else. So, I helped you fight for a chance to audition tonight. Come over at 8 p.m. tonight and I'll send you the address later. Okay, thank you, Sister Wang. Reba hung up the phone excitedly. Zhao Xiaoying hugged Reba directly and excitedly spun around. I said it. I said we definitely have a chance. Let's go pack up quickly. We'll go audition later. The two of them dared not delay for a moment, and each got busy. At the same time. In the evening, the presidential suite on the top floor of the Peace Hotel. In the living room, Bai Chen stood up and was focused on playing with a fish tank in front of him. The fish tank is about 2 meters long and 1.2 meters high, with dozens of small fry swimming happily inside. Bai Chen picked up a handful of bait from the nearby jade box and sprinkled it bit by bit into the fish tank. Boss, as you expected, Reba's agent is not clean either. They just collected 1 million yuan from baby a while ago. Tonight we also held a hongmen banquet, preparing to help baby deal with Miss Reba. Bai Chintu didn't turn back and continued to sprinkle a small amount of bait before speaking lightly. It's been so many years now, but they still have this little trick and haven't made any progress. Li Teng continues to report. Boss, we found out that second young master had previously joined a talent agency called Huanyu Entertainment in China. The company was recruiting artists, but secretly arranged for these artists to accompany them for drinks. Second young master was once forced to work as a receptionist, and I don't know what happened afterwards. This was transferred by the company to northern Myanmar. That Universal Entertainment Company was deregistered at the beginning of the year, but we found some information about shareholders and related personnel. As he spoke the following sentences, Li Teng's voice gradually quieted down. To be honest, when I investigated these things, I couldn't help but apologize for the second young master. What kind of emotion is the boss feeling when he hears these things at this moment? But at this moment, the boss's feeding of the fish did not stop at all, still calmly feeding the small fish in the fish tank. After the food enters the fish tank, the whole fish tank becomes lively instantly, and these small fish compete to chase the bait. At this time, the only purpose is to have enough to eat. Their movements were too great, and soon the water in the fish tank changed from transparent to turbid. Bai Chen frowned with some disdain. These fish, once they have food to eat, they don't care about anything. He turned around and threw the waste paper that had been wiped with fish food residue into the trash can, looking at Li Teng and asking. The water in this fish tank is dirty, what do you think should be done? Li Teng thought for a moment and replied. Change water. Bai Chen shook his head and tapped the fish tank with his fingers. It's troublesome to change the water, so I just changed this batch of fish. Li Teng's eyes flickered and he understood the meaning. Yes. Boss, I know how to do it. Chapter 010. Have fate to make money, do you have fate flowers? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Reba and Zhao Xiaoying, due to the recent controversy, their previous roles have also been suspended. Today I received a notification from my agent to pack up early and head to the destination in advance. Did you walk the wrong way? Zhao Xiaoying looked at the bustling venue in front of her, feeling a bit regretful. Reba lowered her head and checked the location with the address in front of her using her phone. It seems right, 38, Jiangbei Road. The agent only sent the address and did not say that this is a bar. Zhao Xiaoying hesitated for a moment before gritting her teeth. It's okay, it's okay. I heard people in the circle say that these directors and investors now prefer to talk about work in such places. I don't know why, but whenever Reba sees this place, he always has a bad feeling. But I didn't want to give up on the hard-won opportunity, and I hesitated repeatedly. In this way, let's pay attention to each other, don't touch the food and drink inside, and leave immediately if we find something wrong. Zhao Xiaoying nodded. The two of them finally mustered the courage to enter the bar. In this bar, there are all young people dressed in revealing and fashionable clothes, and some of them jump excitedly, even making some indecent movements, which left the two of them stunned. After passing through the bouncing area, both of Reba and Zhao Xiaoying's faces turned pale. What should I do? I suddenly don't really want to go in. Seeing those young people, Reba suddenly remembered the previous rumors. The company likes to arrange artists to privately accompany the big boss with drinks as receptions in the middle of the night. On such an occasion, just as the two hesitated, they suddenly heard a familiar voice. Mr. Liu, rest assured that the person will arrive soon. It was the voice of Agent Wang, with a flattering tone in her tone. Beside her, a middle-aged man with a big belly said. To be honest, I've been interested in those two people for a long time. They're really beautiful, especially the hot and tight ones. With a flattering attitude, Sister Wang covered her mouth and smiled. Mr. Wang, it's their good fortune to be favored by you, as long as you provide more support and introduce more projects, you can choose anyone you want. It's easy to say, the two of them walked straight into the private room. Reba and Zhao Xiaoying stood in the corner, but due to the lighting, they didn't see them this time. But at this moment, their faces were completely lifeless. Is the hope that was finally seen so hard actually like this? I thought I had arranged an opportunity, but I wanted to push them into the pit of fire. The two remained silent for a long time, and neither of them spoke, but their emotions were the same at this moment. Until Reba's phone rang. It's my agent, Sister Wang. Reba glanced at Zhao Xiaoying, who lowered her head and tears swirled in her eyes. She still answered the phone, and as soon as it was answered, Wang's reproachful voice rang out. What's going on between you two? I and the investors have both arrived, but you two haven't arrived yet. Don't say I won't introduce you to an opportunity. You missed out on such a great project, so you really don't want to mess around in the circle in the future. Hurry up to my private room within 10 minutes. After finishing these words, Sister Wang realized that there was a lot of noise in places like bars like Reba. Reba worked hard to keep herself calm and said in a suppressed voice. So, Miss Wang, is the opportunity you're talking about a chance for us to accompany you? An opportunity to sell our looks. On the other end of the phone, Sister Wang was taken aback for a moment. She had originally intended to continue deceiving the two, but now that she had been seen through, there was nothing hidden. Don't toast, don't be punished. It would be great if I could arrange a drinking companion for you. I'll tell you, a wild girl with no background like you, why don't you sell your looks in the circle? Wait for more beautiful girls to rise up. If such an opportunity falls on you, then be grateful. Reba tightly held his phone, as he exerted too much force, his joints turning slightly white. The other hand clenched its fist tightly, its nails clasped in the flesh. Got it. Silent for a long time, Reba calmly said 3 words and hung up the phone with a snap. She turned her head to look at Zhao Xiaoying. Let's go, I think you're right. Maybe the entertainment industry is really not suitable for us. Zhao Xiaoying's eyes were empty and she nodded in confusion. The two of them left the scene like this. The agent was still a bit puzzled, but as soon as he hung up the phone, he realized that there seemed to be a sound from a bar on Reba's phone. Can you say they have already arrived? That's why I asked this question when I saw myself with Mr. Wang. With this in mind, the agent quickly opened the private room door and indeed saw the two of them walking towards the door. At this moment, the phone rang. It was Baby's agent. How's it going? Did you get the photo taken? Wang, who had a fierce expression the moment before, immediately changed her face. Well. Let them both run away. After speaking, Wang Jia was worried about being held accountable and quickly explained. Number 34, but don't worry, the bar owner is my friend. As long as the two of them come to the bar, the surveillance cameras will capture them all. These things are enough as black material to kill both of them. Number 34, and I can arrange for someone to take 2 pictures of the accompanying wine, and then I will stand up and accuse them of sitting on the company stage behind their backs, ensuring that they cannot continue to stay in the circle. According to the original plan, Sister Wang was planning to trick the two of them into going to the private room. Later, she took some photos of accompanying drinks as evidence. Unexpectedly, the two of them discovered and ran away in advance. Looking at the 2 silly girls, she was quite cunning. Sure enough, after this explanation, the other end of the phone stopped saying anything. Alright, let's do as you said. Please organize all the materials and send them to me later. Okay. The next 1 million. After receiving it, I will naturally give it to you. I don't want to see what level our baby is, it's just a small amount of money. Wang respectfully hung up the phone. A proud smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Not bad, I got another 1 million. Sister Wang tidied up her hair and turned to walk towards the private room. As soon as she entered, she found several strong men inside. 1 million. I don't know if you have the destiny to make money, or if you have the destiny to spend money.